fun to run. I have enjoyed showing you guys the basics of marketing step by step, brick by brick. But today we're going to take a major step forward. So far, all we have done has been practice exercises. But today we're going to do some real work. We're going to take some massive steps forward to help you not only land a client, because having a client is cool. But what's cool about this type of client that we're getting you is it's your springboard to infinite clients. It's your opportunity to prove yourself and set yourself up for an infinite number of opportunities to earn an insane amount of money. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you guys can see me and hear me, go ahead and give me a one in the chat so I know this is dialed in. I want to make sure we got this, Mr. Producer. It's interesting setting this up in a slightly different chat with slightly different situation. But if you guys can see me and hear me, give me a one in the chat so I know we are ready to go. Excellent. Very fun. Awesome. One's in the chat, which means I pulled it off yet again. Before we move on, I want to know how many of you still have lingering questions from yesterday's assignment to do a full top player analysis based on the winner's writing process that I showed you. I had you guys go on and do that. It's a significant amount of work. Many of you have never done that before. It was a pretty big chunk. And I know that a lot of you asked questions. I wasn't able to answer all of them live on the call. I know some of you asked questions in this chat. And so right now, if you have a question about the homework assignment that you did, I don't want to answer anything else, but questions about your homework assignment, go ahead and put it in the chat. I want to answer them if possible, because you need to have yesterday's lesson pretty much wrapped up and internalized if you want to be successful with this client outreach, because it's going to be dependent on that ability. So if you have questions about that, go ahead and put it in the chat. Any questions about the winner's writing process, breaking down top players, you need to be able to do that in order to land this client. So some people said they missed the call yesterday. Yeah, you still got to go get that taken care of. Everyone should be able to watch the replays and go through it. Yeah, no worries. And if you guys are a couple days behind because you joined this whole live series cohort a couple days, that's is what it is. You have to catch up as quickly as you can. Question. So someone said, what is the thing you're trying to teach us? How to analyze the four steps, how to create the ad, how to design it. What is it specifically? How to engineer the experience, my friend. Your job as a copywriter is to look at where your target market is and get their attention and then get them to go buy your client's product. You should be able to analyze the entire experience for all the funnel for any client you might work with so that you can turn around and recreate that process somewhere else for another client. So yes, mainly it's about coming up with the outline and identifying the steps in that experience, but eventually you may have to design the ad or put it all together. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. You're going to have to take ownership of the entire process. We'll talk about that a little bit today when we talk about getting your first client, going through the project cycle with them, and we will help you. So a question here is, what if a business has different funnels? What do you focus on? For yesterday's exercise, you pick whichever one most interests you. Today, we're going to talk about how to figure out which one specifically you're going to help a business with. I'm going to give you a really simple way to figure that out. So someone said here, when stealing ads from top players, should I use the exact same script they use, or should I just basically take the formula? I recommend you start with the formula. If there are some general things that you can directly go ahead and use and you're not directly competing for them, like you're not running an identical ad in the same city to the same people, then you can take some more of the actual text that they're using if it makes sense for you. Usually they'll just stick with the formula. Yeah, some people are saying they were lost because it was their first time and they know they need practice. Yeah, you'll get better as you go through it. And this next opportunity will probably be a little easier for you the next time you go through it. There's a big giant question about landing this client and testimonials. Dude, we're going to cover that later. That's beyond the scope of this. All right. Yeah. People are asking about how to connect this to clients and warm outreach. Yeah. We're going to cover all of that now. Okay. I think we got pretty much all of the beginner questions. There's a few Agoge students asking questions that are beyond the scope of this call. Yeah, and there's a lot of people asking about working with clients. Some of you have already gone out and got your first client, which is fantastic. So a lot of today's call is going to be kind of catch up for you. You're going to be able to see some of the things you've done, maybe have some ideas on how to go get your second or third client. But we're going to be primarily talking at the end how to make sure you deliver well for that first client, how to actually get the result, how to manage the client relationship. Some of the good stuff you have to understand that is beyond just how to write copy, the things that will determine whether or not you get paid a large amount of money or a mediocre amount of money. So I think we've handled most of the beginner questions. I think it's time to just get started and go through today's training. So the way we're going to do this, guys, we're going to go through this training. We're going to watch. I'm going to take you through the information, show you some things you need to do. We are going to pause every so often, and I'm going to have you do work. We got some nice little orchestral music in the background to make it more interesting for everybody. But there are going to be times on this training where I say, pause, everyone go do this thing. And I'm going to wait for everybody to catch up. So you're going to need I'll be sharing some links with you. So you need to be able to either open those up. At the very least, you need a pen and paper to get started with what I'm going to be doing and having you guys do on today's call. So let's dive in. It's time for you all to get a starter client. You know the basics now. You know a little bit about how businesses grow. I've shown you how to find ideas to help businesses. We're going to talk about how to figure out what specifically your new clients may need. But now it's time for you to go get a client. Now, you have to understand you need to get a starter client now before you go for the big fish, for the big clients, for the big money opportunities. Because right now you have a major disadvantage. Your major disadvantages are that you are unknown, you are not credible, you have no experience, you have never produced results, you are inexperienced. So that's your biggest disadvantage because you have no credibility, because you can't point to your successes. If you tried to talk with a big, exciting client, they'd say, I'm sorry, I'll wait and talk to someone who has experience. It's kind of a chicken and the egg situation, right? You need experience to get those big clients, but if you don't have experience, how are you supposed to get a client? It's one of those issues. The answer is to shift your focus away from big clients and shift it towards getting a starter client. Because right now, your disadvantage can be aikidoed or sort of flipped into a major advantage. The fact that you are a brand new student and you have time, plus, kind of as a secret, you have cheat codes as a member of the real world to be able to over deliver. Because you have those things, you can leverage those into advantages to help you get that starter client. So I'm going to have you get a starter client, a small, simple client. You're going to get them an amazing result.